Why is it that so many kids are struggling with reading in school and at home? This is impacting millions of kids each year. And what's going on? It's important to know that what we're doing, is it working? Look at the results. I would say half of the students, this is really effective and it works for them. The other half, I'd say it's just not the best match. So is this something that is important? Absolutely. Then why hasn't this been fixed? Why have we been going on year after year after year with low reading scores, low outcomes, low results? What is that all about? What's causing that? And if we keep doing the same old method, we're going to continue to get the same poor results. Now in 1992, that's when I started my teaching career. And what I noticed over my whole career is the devastating effect of poor academic skills, particularly reading. What happens is the student or the child, they start doubting themselves. They start wondering, like, do I have what it takes to make it? And parents, they care, they want the best for their kids. They start getting exhausted and drained because they will help them. They'll do tutoring. They'll help them with their worksheets, do more things. But it seems like the struggle continues or it only gets worse. But there is a better way. But what I found is that people dismiss it because it sounds too good to be true. And I think about things that once were too good to be true, but now they're common everyday things, like flying. At one time, we thought that was too good to be true. How could things that were lighter than air actually fly in the sky? And then cell phones. That was something from Star Trek in the 1960s. Who's going to have a cell phone that you could have a video on, a call? You don't have it connected to wires or anything. So we've had all these things that were unbelievable. They couldn't happen. They're untrue. But now they're just common realities for us. Yet with reading, we have accepted the fact that a whole bunch of kids either can't read or won't read or don't have the skills. There's something holding them back, and well, it's just kind of the way it is. But it's not because they're not capable, because kids can do this. I've seen it with my own eyes. I've seen Janelle work with students, and they make progress 2, 3, even 4 grades in 1 week. Yes, in 5 or 6 days, they're improving that much. And people think, oh, that's impossible. It can't happen. But it can happen. But right now, what's going on is kids think they're not capable, and so they stop believing in themselves. And once you stop believing in yourselves, your confidence drops, and you think fundamentally, there's something wrong with me. I know I felt that way as a kid growing up. For example, when I was in the 9th grade, I was at a 2nd or 3rd grade reading level, depending on which assessment they gave me. And I was in all kinds of remedial classes, even all the way through high school. I graduated and I was in all the remedial classes. And if you would have asked me, am I a bright student? Am I smart? Am I capable? I'd have been, well, not really. And I had a lot of results to show that I wasn't. I had a lot of evidence and proof to show that I wasn't very smart, I wasn't very capable, my grades weren't the best. I wasn't even in regular classes. I really want you to let that sink in. I wasn't even in regular classes. I was in remedial classes. I was in like the lowest tier because I had tracking back then. And I certainly wasn't in any of the advanced classes. So for you and your son or daughter, do you get to the point where you are frustrated, you've given up, you think this is just the way it is? And have you bought into this false belief that you're not good enough or you're just not good at reading? It's just not going to happen. Now, a lot of times, parents and teachers and other people with good intentions will tell kids things that, hey, you can do it. I believe in you. But what the kid sees is empty praise. You have good intentions, you mean well. And what I've learned is that you can only truly have confidence if you have mastery. If you don't have mastery in that, if you're not very good at it, if you can't do it very well, all the words in the world, all the talking, it's not going to change how you feel inside. You're going to feel like, yeah, they're saying nice things, but it's not true. You're not going to believe it. But when you start having memories that are different, when you start having experiences that are different, instead of struggling, you have success. Instead of thinking a negative self-image on myself, I can't get this done, I'm not going to improve, I'm too slow, this isn't for me. When you start experiencing the opposite of that, you start having rapid growth, you start making progress, you start feeling good about yourself, you have experiences where, wow, I read that, I understand it, I get it, it makes sense to me. And that all happens when you have the right tools. If I was trying to build a house and I didn't have the right tools, it's going to be frustrating and slow. If I have the right tools, it's going to be a lot easier. And then also the right approach. Am I taking the right approach to reading that works for me? Not works for other people. Because I've said, like, what we're doing currently right now, it works for about half the people. But there's a whole nother chunk of people that this doesn't really fit. It doesn't work that well. And once you can change this, change what's happening, change what you're seeing, and get the results that you like, you break the cycle. You start believing in yourself. And you believe, okay, maybe it is possible. Maybe I can do it. If I can improve 2 grade levels in a week, if I can start removing some of these triggers, if I can start grasping things the way that I'm designed to interpret and understand things, then all of a sudden it goes from a struggle to now I'm seeing growth, now I'm seeing progress. And I know this for myself. Like whenever I'd have a reading assignment or a homework assignment, I just dreaded it. I would hesitate. I would procrastinate. Maybe your son or daughter is doing that same thing. But once you fit the system that works with them, then that is eliminated. They still have to work, they still have to put in the effort, but it's going to match up with them. And reading gets easier, their confidence spikes, and they catch up in ways that right now most people would say is impossible. But I've seen it with my own eyes, people improving 1, 2, 3, even 4 grade levels in 1 week because they've removed the triggers. And triggers is something we go into a lot. And just imagine this. If you had something around you that triggered you, that stressed you out. Maybe it's someone, a person, maybe it's something, maybe it's a lion, okay? Whatever it is, something that triggered you. And then that trigger was always right next to you when you're reading. You're going to be stressed out. It's like trying to read with the fire alarm glaring. It's hard to concentrate on what's going on. And when you can remove that trigger, then it's just so much easier, and it's just life-changing. So that's one of the things we do is remove triggers, and most people don't realize the triggers that they have. There's a book called The Body Keeps the Score, and in there it shows you how trauma gets embedded in your body and it gets held in your body. And the same kind of trauma can happen with you or your child in reading. And what happens is, if you have experienced negative results or bad experiences with reading, that in itself starts creating trauma. So just the fact that you're looking at reading, it's like the fire alarm going off or a lion sitting next to you. It's going to raise your blood pressure. You're not going to feel good about things. And it's going to really resist you. But when you can remove those and then build a new memory, a new past, all of a sudden now you're like, wow, I can't believe how much easier this is without the fire alarm going off, without these triggers going off. And you basically have a choice. You can keep doing what you've been doing, the struggle, the grinding, maybe getting tutoring, maybe putting guilt and pressure on your kid to improve, to study, or you can remove the triggers. You can find a system that actually matches their needs, the way they process information. And it's not just how they're bringing it in, it's internally. How are they internally taking that information inside and processing it? That is super critical. And when they have the right tools and techniques, then what happens is this is game changing for them. So if you are interested in this, I encourage you to check out our website at bettersolution.me. That's bettersolution.me. Or if you have questions for me personally, you can email me at brian@bettersolution.me. That's brian@bettersolution.me. And we'll put all that stuff in the description too. But I want you to realize that once the reading improves, their confidence improves, their joy improves, and literally their future improves. If that's something you're interested in helping your child with, please contact us. Otherwise, I'll see you in another video, and all the best to you.